month of February. Roll call.
Alderman Chapman,
Present.
Alderman Cunningham, Alderman Wilson,
Present.
Alderman Dubose,
Present.
Alderwoman Chambers. Here. Alderman Chastain,
Here.
Alderman Lemon.
Here.
Here we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Before the minutes, the agenda, I'd like to just make a couple of adjustments here on the agenda before we approve them, so you know what the adjustments are. Just want to call to your attention, just so you know, that item 4.7, $25,000 that we are approving to accept this evening is a donation that M&M Bank is making to the city to help us begin to renovate Pelican Landing, starting with the flooring. And that donation is from our solicitations, conversation with them. Just want you to be aware of what that money is for, 4.7.
Can I add to that for 4.7? 4.7, it's also related to 4.15. And you may have been going there. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, just so you be aware of the connection of, was that 4.15? Yeah, that's the same relationship with that. Whereas they're going to be having their corporate meeting at Pelican Landing. It's scheduled sometime, I believe, April, May. And we're waiving that fee, but they are going to pay the $500 for the cleanup fee. And the $25,000 is to help get the flooring upgraded for that event and, of course, other events.
And Mayor, we've agreed to extend that waiver up to the amount that they're donating.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right. That's the way we were able to, I didn't want to go in there. I didn't want to go in there, I hate to use the word begging without saying we got something to offer. So what we have to offer is that you support us with $25,000 and we can waive the fee until we get up to that amount. That's how we can repay you. We really need to get that floor repaired, and that's the beginning of that. The other item is item 5.1 is being removed. That's 5467 Winona is being removed from the agenda, which is 5.1. That's 5467 Winona. Item 5.1 is being removed from the agenda.
So Mayor, the only item under 5.1, we had two, it would be 3628 Doors Circle will take place under 5.1 and 5.2.
Yeah. 5.2 is what we'll have to vote on. Okay. With those adjustments, can I get a motion to accept the agenda?
So move. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Alderman Lemon, you invite a guest?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Thank you. I've invited Reverend Derek Tapper from First Baptist, and I believe he has David Landreth with him. And I just want to thank them for being here, and also want to mention how much we appreciate the work they've done in our community since the tornado. And, they've been joining forces with First Missionary Baptist, which I'm sure Alderman Chastain appreciates, and having services together and whatnot, and just being a good part of our community. So welcome, Reverend Derek Tapper.
Reverend?
Well, good evening, folks. Servants, I only have a couple of words. I'm going to share two verses with you, and then I'm going to tell a little bit my story is your story, that you're involved in the service of the community. And I want you to know that's kingdom business. The Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus said when he came, I came not to be served, but to serve and to give my life a ransom for many. Katrina brought me back to the Gulf Coast. I lived here for about 11 years. My first 11 years of life were in Mobile, Tillman's Corner area. My dad worked at Brickley Air Force Base. He had originally been in the Navy. I was born in California, raised here. Mom and dad were born in Bottle Factory, Alabama. So they come from a bit of a fisherman's village and were involved in that all their lives. When I graduated from college, I met a little girl in Montreal, Canada. I drove up there, married the girl, stayed up there 32 years in Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver. When I was in Vancouver, Katrina hit. Both of my boys were down here. They'd gone to school down here. My son both of them went to University of South Alabama. And so in 2005, when Katrina hit, I came down. I came down here probably for 3 years straight before we decided to move back down here to actually help the Gulf Coast. So I brought money, I brought men, professionals, and that's what we did. The first 2 homes we did was one on Shell Belt Road in Bottle Factory for SOS people, Sudan and Bohan. And then we also did one on 13th Street in Pascagoula. In 9 days, we came. There were 30 of us. We brought $30,000. We rebuilt their houses. They walked back in them after that 9 days because they had so many professionals engaged during that time. So Katrina brought me back to the Gulf Coast. And the tornado kind of like brought them to Moss Point. Isn't it interesting, all the disasters that are involved and how they change your lives? Brother Henry from First Missionary Baptist and myself, the day of the tornado, I drove by that church and I said, you know what, my heart just breaks for those people. So I immediately called Brother Henry. And I said, if you guys need a place to worship, I think we can accommodate you. It took me a week to work it through the channels in our church, which is like a miracle to work anything through a church in a week. But we were able to do that, and they voted on that Sunday unanimously to extend our facility to First Missionary Baptist. And I have so enjoyed their presence, working together with them. We've done some events with them. We did our Christmas communion evening service with them. We've got others planned for the future. And it's just been a joy for us as a congregation to reach out to Moss Point and to help them. I work for 3 organizations. I work for the Volunteers of America for 15 years. I worked for the Jackson County Baptist Association for 10 years. And I've been at First Baptist Church almost 2. Originally, I only came as an interim. I mean, of course, I wasn't looking for a pastor. I mean, 5 months I'll be 70, and I wasn't looking to pastor another church. But they twisted my arm. They prayed me into their church, and I decided to accept. And it's been just awesome for me. But in those last 15 years that I've been back from Canada, I've been able to start another kind of ministry through the Jackson County Baptist Church, Baptist Association and the Volunteers of America. I build wheelchair ramps for the elderly, for veterans, for those who are infirm, for those with TBI, for those with cerebral palsy, for those who have diabetes, lost limbs. And over the past 7 years, we have built 750 ramps. We've raised almost $1 million to make that happen. No one has to pay for their ramps. We basically have a pay it forward program. Whatever you can pay, we'll take for materials, but no one gets paid for this program. Tomorrow, we're doing another one in Moss Point. And we've done hundreds in this city. And I just want you to know that what I do is kingdom work, but what you do in serving the people of your constituencies is kingdom work. You are God's hands, you're God's feet. You have opportunity to inspire. You have opportunity to impact. You have the opportunity to influence. And so what you're doing is really walking in the steps of Christ. I applaud you. I exhort you to continue to do it. Just never forget the overriding values that we have are basically values in people. It's people. All our decisions, all the things we take into consideration, it's all about the people. Can I pray for you? Our Father, we lift our hearts to you today. We thank you for this group of people who have dedicated themselves to serve the people of Moss Point. I pray, Father, you would constantly make them understand not only the levity of the work that they do, but the great example they are demonstrating and following Jesus, who came not to be served, but to serve. Enlarge their hearts, Father, inspire them in their service, and may many people in this community be blessed because of the decisions and the work that they engage in. This we ask. In Christ's name we pray.
Thank you, brother. Stand please for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
So very much. And you're working on it.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you so much, David. Thanks for coming. Board members, I left off an item that I needed to add to the agenda, the consent agenda. The item that was given to you when you came in, an amendment, was dealing with the Grand Bay Estuary arrangement that's they're asking us to be their partner in a grant for Sue Ellen Recreation Center. And we want to add 4.20 to the consent agenda. And that is allowing us to partner with them in writing this grant for Sue Ellen Street Recreation Center. Can I get a motion to allow me to do that?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're down to presentation. Chief is here. Coming up, Chief.
I want to take this opportunity to introduce also my newest K-9 unit and give them a certificate of recognition. It's going to be certificate of recognition to Officer K-9 Officer Energy Hughes and K-9 Buddy in recognition of successfully completing a 240-hour course of training in narcotic detection, tracking, and control, given on this day, February 6, 2024. Officer Andrew K-9 Buddy. Department K-9 unit. Thank you.
Dog.
Take off running, Mayor.
He goes, thank you, sir. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Chief. Gentlemen.
Good job. Thank you, sir. So.
Well, on behalf of the mayor and the city, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Richard Parker. Richard represents a youth bass fishing organization called Bass Tactics. We had an event last month, and we're going to have another one on the 16th of this, 17th, next Saturday. And I'd like Richard to share some of the success, economic success this fishing tournament have brought to the city. Richard.
Sorry. Step to this.
Mayor and council, I appreciate y'all having me. And it's not just for the city to know about, sir, we've been doing this down here for, 2 years now?
2 years. Yes.
On behalf of all of our participants in our program, veterans, kids, and their families, everybody wants to know how much we appreciate this community and what they've done for us the last couple of years. Just in case y'all want to know, I am a veteran, Chief Warrant Officer, United States Army. This is part of what we do. We serve veterans and their families. We have events for them throughout the year. And we also, when I started this program in 2007, it was just veterans and their families. And then in 2015, I incorporated the kids into the program. And what we do is, I'm the owner, I'm the creator. I don't take a check from this, okay? So you're not giving money to me. You're blessing families, military families, kids. In the last, just say in the last 5 years, we've probably given them opportunities now. When I say opportunities, we present these scholarships and stuff to these kids of all sorts, ages kindergarten through 12th grade. If they take advantage of that scholarship, it's up to them. But every month, we give away somewhere around $160,000 to $240,000 in scholarships to these kids every month. 8 months. And then the program that we associate with on a higher level is the same. So throughout our program and everything we do, kids have approximately last year about $7 million in scholarships. So, and that's each kid. We give away about $1 million a month to just each kid. Never have to be in our program. Just if you know of a kid that wants to go to a college in Florida, the River University Christian College, then we will present them with a scholarship. Worth approximately $45,000. So, if you know of anyone that wants to go to the Christian University, send them my way. We'll be just glad to, bless them with that. Now, I'm just going to go off of what we had last month and what we got coming up. Last month, just a couple of weeks ago, we had an event down here. And yes, it's called a backstage. You can see right there, the T is the cross, because that's what we stand for, okay? We present the word of God to these kids, and there's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids and parents coming to know us at Jesus as their Savior through our program, because that's what we first and foremost. And the way we've been able to do that is through all of our sponsors in the cities, such as Moss Point, Mississippi, helping support that, okay? And again, thank y'all very much for that. We have another event coming up on the 17th this month. We look forward to it. And I'm just, like I've told the mayor and Ms. Sue before, I travel as a professional angler all over the southeastern United States. There is no facility nor community that more warming and welcoming in the facility that you have than right here in Moss Point. That's the truth. Everybody wants to come back to Moss Point. Why? Because we have such great people here in the community, always welcoming, always willing to help, no matter if they're at the hotel, they're at a restaurant, because we ask these questions. Where would you like to go back to? Just like the people when they come from around the world to come to train, to go to war, and we would bring them through County Shelby to mobilize them, and we would take them through other states. They always wanted to come back to Mississippi because of the hospitality. And that's the way we feel about Moss Point in our fishing. People want to come back here because not only the fishery, but because of the people in the community and what you have out there. We have every event is a sponsored event. I'm gonna cut this too short. Next one will kind of give you an insight on what we are and who we are. As you can read right here, every event we have estimated amount of people, is all I can tell you, because some tournaments we may have 500, and I know the mayor's been out there where the whole place was full. Have 700, 800, 900,000 people out there. And these people stay in the hotels and they eat in the community and all this. So every tournament, I kind of get an estimated amount, who stayed where, what kind of money you spent, what it cost you, all the above. So that's kind of what I have laid out here on this information sheet that I brought you. The events that have been sponsored this year so far is $4,000 each. Again, what we do with that money, we help support. We have Kentucky Christian University, we have Montebello University, we have LSU Shreveport, we have Carson Newman, we have River University. We have all these universities that we're partnered with that we help support them in return to help support us with scholarships. And then we feed these kids and we feed the families, because what better way to fellowship and welcome them, because y'all know what that is. There's a lot of kids out there that have no parental guidance. They have no family, no father figure in their lives. And sometimes they're not mother. So we get these kids and we bring them in the program and we take them out on the water fishing. Well, anybody can fish. We have a kid with no legs, messed up hands, and he still fishes. To this day, his life's continued because the program mentioned him and something he can do. All right. And again, that's because of sponsors like y'all that make that possible. All right. The next event we have coming up is $4,000. But I think we presented back a few months ago to the city about hosting the national championship. Now, I'm pretty lenient and pretty skinny on my estimates here, because I don't want to bring you something that's cost. That is not me. I have dealt with people before, but you not dealt with me on false information, okay? So I try to be a little bit lenient, all right, as far as numbers go and price and the cost. So when you see there, I think up in Tennessee, we had 300, almost 400 kids there. We're at 120, but that was our first championship. Since then, we've grown, you know, I mean, just substantial growth. Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, and even in Florida. So what I'm asking is, and I know that we were asking 25,000 to begin with, right? So what I've come up with, and you see in the upper right-hand corner, what I want to do is to show you our appreciation, is that I want to take the money that you've already donated to us, that's already been set aside for us, and deduct it from that national championship and host this here for $12,500. Now, just let you know, that's a $25,000 event that we normally get for that, because as you can see there, you're looking at $671,000 plus impact in your community. That's estimated. It could be higher, it could be a little bit lower. And I know those are a little bit of adjustment from last time, because some people, so far this year, we started in September, so my numbers have looked a little bit weak, but then they look a little bit strong as well. So I've kind of got an in between there to get you those numbers compared to what people spend per day, gas, fuel, staying in restaurants, food, those kind of things, boat repairs, all this. So I'm asking the city to do is take a second look at this. Please understand the impact that it will have in your community. It will be huge, I promise. Very huge. Y'all got any questions for me at this point? Except I won't take a bunch of your time, but I do want to address any questions that you may have or concerns. I know y'all had some stuff here in the past you weren't real happy with, and thankfully that was not me, but it will never be me in our program. So, any questions, Mayor?
Yeah, if you have any later, I'll get them to you, Richard, if they come up later. Thank you for making that presentation to us.
Absolutely. Thank y'all very much.
Public comments. It's back Ward 3, McMillan.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The honor to God. I want to first come and thank Morris Point for doing what they said they were gonna do. Tim Duval, especially Mr. Roy, and the main thing about our streets getting fixed. And it, like you said, it took time, and we are really very satisfied. Thing. I want to special thank Mr. Chairman. He was concerned about why I wasn't coming to the meeting. I had a grandson. He's playing for Morris Point High School, and I was going there to support him. But I want people to know that Morris Point did what they said they were gonna do. We had to be patient, And they got people in there that's working, and they come to this, they really working good and stuff. I wanna give a shout out to Mr. Roy, and especially Mr. Tim, who don't care when I call them, they pick the phone up, or they return my call. And I want to go and say, thank you, Morrisburg did just what they said they're gonna do. And our streets on Kinley Drive, the Morrisburg is getting fixed.
And I'm gonna take that gun out from under them. Thank you, Ms. Beth. And I'm holding a hostage to make her feel all.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan, for that. And we do ask all our people to be patient. It does take time. We all work. We're all trying to get through all of our streets that's flooding. But, you know, it takes time, but.
And they put in water mains and everything, and we have one, I mean, the people is really working.
We told you.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
All right, well, we're glad you're pleased with it, and we hope it continue that way, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Ward 1, Mr. James Upton, is that right?
Mayor.
Good evening, sir.
Came here to ask y'all to please reconsider the decision that y'all made versus a property back in January 16th this year. It's a house that I own here in Moss Point that was given to me by my grandmother when she passed. Its address is 4449 Mill Avenue. We had a demolition permit for the barn beside the building. We started tearing the barn down. We had no equipment, it's just me and my wife, and we did it, doing it by hand. So it's a very slow process. The house is in disrepair as well, so we decided to start on the house. So we're kind of going back and forth, and the tear down permit on the barn has expired, and we have continued to work on the house. What we're doing in the house, though, is we're not actually working on the structure, we're cleaning the house out. There was a pack rat, she kept everything that she ever run across. We pulled out probably 8 20-foot trailers worth of trash bags and donated clothing and dishes, everything you can think of. We're pulling it out, trying to get to the house to do repairs of the house. I didn't receive a notification on a mail that the house was going to be on the list where I've been here. They did post on the house, but where they post on the house was an unused door. We never go to that door to enter the house. We have a driveway that comes up to a carport, and we enter right there. So we had never actually made it around front because we've been working on the inside of the house. I'm asking if you would give me an extension on the decision, give me a month on the tear downs. I'll get everything tore down in the next month. If you give me 2 months on the structure, the main structure, primary residence, I'll have the outside of it presentable in 2 months.
Mayor, I did reach out to Alderman Cunningham since he wasn't here tonight to see what his thoughts were. He said that he drove by and it did not appear to him that much work, if any, had been done. And that he is okay if the board decides to give time, but to just give the minimum time that you can to get it done.
I'll bring somebody in to get it done. That's not a problem.
You say you didn't get any communication about this?
Sir.
We have the wrong address on you. You didn't get any communication?
No, there was no mail at the place. I go by there about once a week, twice a week and check the mail. There was never any mail at the place about the tear down.
Mail.
Both there and my primary residence in Lucedale. If y'all want that address, I'll give you both.
It just goes to wherever the tax bill goes is where the notice would go. And so we have copies of where it was mailed and the letter and sent. But that's fine. If you, Marcus just could not give an extension without you all agreeing to extend it. So if the request is 1 month for
Tear down.
1 month for tear down, that's the barn?
The barn and the 2 houses behind the.
Okay, a barn and 2 houses in 1 month, and then the main structure, 2 months?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what he's requesting for
Y'all
y'all.
repaired the outside of the main structure.
And just whatever you can do to just make sure the area is clean.
Yes, yes.
Can do.
Bring the dumpsters in, pull everything out of the yard. Because we've already cut bushes back where you can see the house. We've done a lot of cleanup already.
Does anybody have a motion for that?
I motion to give him the time that's allowed. You say 1
Second.
month? Oh,
Alderman Reynolds, you had a question?
Second.
He said,
Second.
That would be 1 month on the barn, the two structures behind to have demolished, 2 months to have the outside of the house in safe condition, presentable condition.
Yes.
Okay, and you'll just need to check with his department to make sure you're,
Permits.
yeah.
Yes.
You need to make sure we got the right address. That's, we
and you're gonna have to go,
need to communicate with you, so we need to get the right address.
Not a problem whatsoever.
and you're gonna have
Any other questions? Any other board member got a question? All in favor, say aye.
to,
Nays? Ayes have it.
Thank y'all very much.
Ward 3. Dr. Octavia Cooper.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. I'm Nikhil Cooper. This is my wife, Octavia Cooper. And we're coming before you today to talk about an issue at one of our properties. Before I go into that, I just want to let you know that as former citizens of Moss Point, we still have an invested interest, not only with the properties, but family and the education here. As I'm an administrator, he supports in the Air Force. But our issue today is hopefully we can prevent something from happening. I'm gonna turn it to let my wife, she contacted our Alderman Dubose.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Dubose. I spoke to Mr. Dubose on January the 17th in regards to a major issue that I'm having on Community Avenue. Being that that's a family house and my grandparents has been in that house since the 50s. There's been a lot going on that street. I thank the city for what they've done, along with what Ms. McMillan said. Thank you for the roads that's been recently paved. The downfall of that has been Community Street is a speedway. And I fear for all of the elderly neighbors and children that are on that street. There's about 5 cross streets from McPhee down to Second Street, in which the Hellcat or the Dodge Charger gang has taken over that street tremendously. They are doing speeds well over 100 miles per hour. And I fear that there's gonna be some child that loses their life, or some elderly person is killed as they bag out their yard or driving in their yard. It's a shame. Most of the Dodge gang is from around that particular area, whether it's from Frederick Street to Doris Street to Community, Cuban Street, all in that area. The citizens cannot enjoy the paved roads of Community Street because they're running it way too fast. I would like to petition the city to do something about it, and we can set up speed bumps. If speed bumps are too costly, make a couple of 4-way stops along that street. Something has to be done because there's no value on the life that's gonna be lost. Myself, have lived in that house for many years. I spoke with my uncle who's now 60, in his 60s, and they had that same problem. But I'm here today to petition something be done. Something has to be done. On Doris Street, that's the only cross section that isn't paved, and the cars are going airborne once they hit that hump. Recently, on January 21st, my mailbox was tore down. Like I said, I spoke with Alderman Dubose on January 17th. Just a couple of days later, someone hit their hump and tore down the mailbox. We're doing constant repairs, and that's something minor to the major impact that can be done within the community. So I petition speed bumps definitely on the corner of Community and Doris Street, but it has to be done because that half-mile stretch between McPhee and Second Street, McPhee and Nancy Street, because that's the only stop sign on that area. Something has to be done.
Thank you all, but yes, just to reiterate what my wife said, from Nancy Street, that's a stop sign there. And McPhee Road. 5 streets in between, and I have seen them run that stop sign. I myself almost got hit when I went over there to fix the mailbox. but it's bad. And these just young children, now, when I say children, I'm talking about young adults. They're out the house, they're grown, they're under 25, but this is an elderly neighborhood. And something, like my wife said, something must be done. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming. Pentecostal Church of God.
To the board, Pentecostal Church of God, and the project manager for our national church all over the state of Mississippi, Alabama, Detroit, Georgia. We have an issue there that when it rains, it floods at the church, and the whole is flooded. When the members come to church, gentlemen have to drive around with the sisters and kids. Why? I didn't realize so many on the board, but that's a 3801 Hill Avenue. Constantly rains, it floods that area. Then the parking lot floods up. There's just so many areas there. And when you go by there, if you look at the road, it's built higher than the parking lot. So when the water runs off into the property, we appreciate if they have an engineer or someone take a look at that area and see what we can do. A few times I tried to dig, but the parking lot was not where the water built. So I tried to build a trench so it could run off in the other trench. Okay. That whole area down that flood. So we appreciate it very much. We're getting ready to put a fence up. We're getting ready to enhance the church, other things up. And members are complaining. It's mainly the sisters. Getting no rest. Sisters complaining. Is that making a difference where we're gonna get it done? It doesn't matter. But we'd appreciate if you would take a look at that and see what kind of resolution that we can come up with. And I thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We will. Russell, have you seen that? Russell, would you come in? Check that out. Let me know. Russell. Thank you all for coming, and we're going to be working with Mr. We've talked about stop signs already about what was strategically that should be, we'll get the engineers out there to look at all that and try to have to determine what is best solution for it. And so we'll be looking at that. We'll look at both of these situations. But we're certainly sorry you have to go through that with our kids. I'm just curious about the families of these kids. Right. Why family members can't? I mean, they got to know they're doing this, right? They got to know they're doing it. They got to know it's wrong. They got to know they're speeding. Why would they allow their kids to put your families and other families in harm's way and not say something to them about that? We're all in this together. And if we're all in this together, why would one family allow other families to be in danger by something that their kid is doing without saying something to them about it? I don't think they would want that in their neighborhood. Well, maybe they are in that same neighborhood and just ignoring it. I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna do what we can, okay?
Mayor,
Yes.
it's not just his neighborhood either. Like he say, they got I don't know if it's a little gang of them, but it's a bunch of them. They go down the street and they got a certain kind of cars that they're driving.
They've done out Kimberly Drive too.
Yes.
Well, you see, then we as a community, we as a city, Is that a culture that we have? We have to look at our whole city. Our whole city needs to look at itself. Our whole city. Is that a culture we have as a people? That we do these kind of things and think it's okay? See, we all have to talk to each other about this. Our pastor need to talk about this at the church, where all of us gather at 11 o'clock every Sunday.
Right,
And we got them all in one place.
that's right.
We ought to tell them, talk to your kids about this. We're hurting each other.
Somebody bad.
It's a family, it's a city, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about our whole community as a culture. These are the kind of things we do, and then the city got to step in and try to make them do right. We don't have enough police to put them everywhere, because they're all over the city. We have the police ourselves.
That's right.
Is that a culture? I'm certainly concerned about our people. Because it goes back to us having to police ourselves and take care of each other. Because we just can't, we don't want a police city, do we? The police on every corner trying to make us do right. What police got to make us do right? Then people gonna get upset about that. You got too many police around. Well, you want police yourself. Let's help each other. We're gonna do what we can. We're gonna do what we can. You know, just one other item about things that I'm concerned about in our city is the dumping. You know, we got signs around saying don't dump on our reputation. They dump on top of that sign. They care nothing about that sign. Okay, thank you guys. All right, we're down to the consent agenda. Item number 4. Pleasure of the board.
Move that we approve the amendments to the consent agenda.
Wait a minute, the amendment.
The ones.
No, we'll go down where we're approving item 1 through 4.20.
For 20.
Right.
The addition.
Amendments that you noted earlier, you and I know.
Here's the amendment.
Yes, sir. Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Ayes have it.
Aye.
Okay, we're down to item, the main agenda, 5, 5.1.
5.1, approve, decline to take action pursuant to section 21-1911 of the Mississippi Code on the property address 3628 Doris Circle, finding that the property is a menace to public health, submitted by Marcus Patchott, Director of Jackson County Planning Department. The evidence to support that it is a menace to the public health and safety of the citizens of Moss Point was presented in the hearing, and that evidence should be part of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman, any questions? All in favor, say aye. Nays? Ayes have it.
5.2, approve, decline, or request to accept the lowest and best quote to demolish the property located at 3628 Doris Circle, after finding that it was a menace to the public health safety of the residents of Moss Point, submitted by Marcus Catchott, Director of Jackson County Planning Department. The lowest and best bid will go to TriStar with a bid of $3,420. The other 2 bids received were $5,400 and $5,500.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderwoman Chambers. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
5.3, approve, decline the amendment to Moss Point zoning ordinances to expand allowable uses under special exceptions for each district and remove prohibited uses for each district in order to promote development and have discretion for projects that are not injurious and in harmony with the neighborhood, submitted by Amy St. Pay, City Attorney. This is what we discussed at the last meeting related to the mobile home that was in the rural area.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Alderman
Second.
Wilson, second by Alderman Leonard. Any questions? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
5.4, approve, decline, a recommendation to strike all mention of the city's employee benefits from the civil service rules and regulations and remove any verbiage where civil service employees and benefits are referred to in the employee handbook until both may be properly revised without conflicting policies submitted by Nisi Barnett, Director of HR. It's worded, Ms. Chambers, Alderman Chambers asked me reports worded it didn't dawn on me, but it may be confusing. What we're trying to do is there's a section in civil service that addresses employees' benefits, and then there's a section in the employee handbook that addresses employee benefits, and they're inconsistent. So we want the employee handbook to be what is looked at and applied for all employees, civil service and non-civil service. Everything else in civil service will remain the same.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Williams, second by Alderwoman Chambers. Any question? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Ayes have it.
5.5, approve decline a request to hire Elaine Hughes as a contractual host for Parks and Recreation programs and events submitted by Don Joseph, Director of Parks and Recreation.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Wilson. Is there any questions? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
5.6, approve decline a request to hire Patty Weiss as the aerobics instructor for the Parks and Rec Golden Age Fitness Program submitted by Don Joseph, Director of Parks and Rec.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Leonard and second by Alderman Chastain. Any question? All in favor, say aye. Ayes have it.
Aye.
Mayor, 5.7, we have discussion 9, and then what we had for 5.8 for executive session, we no longer have it.
I go ahead.
Yeah, we removed the item from the executive session,
Yes, sir.
and so we have no executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right.